Hey guys, welcome. My name is Dane. I just want to speak on a little bit today how I believe that the spirits that are governing and controlling all the situations and the stalking and working through the people who have opened up doorways to them, and I believe some of them are unknowingly being used, and then some of them have willingly sold out. And so that's not really our place to judge, or it's kind of irrelevant at that point, because they're being used and they're being used against you, right? So a lot of the times the things you're experiencing, though people are doing it to you, it's coming from a spiritual source, and it's coming from demons, essentially. And so I believe that, like, the street theater and, kind of like the humiliation and the mocking and all the things that are happening are meant to give off a reaction from you. How do I say that? They are meant to cause a reaction in you, whether that's anger or fear, depending on the tactic they're using and what they want to tap into. The result is, you being angered or feared or in fear, and I think that the spirits feed off that energy that is put off, that spiritual energy that's put off fear. Like, if you guys have ever seen how some of the weirdo satanic stars and politicians and things like that, and people that are into Satanism, they have a thing for putting people in fear because there's chemical reactions in it, and I believe there's spiritual reactions in it too. But I'm just freestyling a little bit, talking about that, just an example. So I believe they're doing things to feed off your fear and to control, the emotional state or the spiritual state that you're in. And so one thing that I noticed that changes is not moving in the spirit they're trying to put you in. So if they're trying to make you feel afraid, you have to show courage. You have to walk up to these people and you have to take that upper hand that they're trying to have. They're trying to establish, like, power over you, and that's done by giving into the spirit that's coming onto you, right? So fear is conquered. The opposite is courage, right? And for me, that's where trusting God really helped. I would have to trust God, and even though it'd be something that I was still feeling the fear, I wouldn't act in fear. I would have to stand in courage, even though some of the things I was experiencing was, pretty terrible and terrifying at times. But after a while, I stopped running from it, and I realized that things started shifting when I stood firm and stopped letting them push me around. And same thing with anger. Like, if you're feeling anger, you have to move in the opposite spirit, which is almost like kindness or even love. Honestly, love is always the best option. And it's hard sometimes because these people are the opposite of that. They're hate, they're malice, they're rage, they're murder, right? But the goal is to not be like them. I feel like they're trying to conform you into their image by putting wounds on you, by putting you in these states of panic and fear and trauma and all, and it's like, I mean, they're not fighting fair, you guys, honestly. Like, and I understand it can be so taxing dealing with this, but my whole point to all my videos are basically that we need to rely on the wisdom of God. We cannot beat this thing in our own understanding, because we're dealing with spiritual beings. We're dealing with spiritual absolutes. So there's ways that things operate in the spirit that we need to be aware of, and we can't battle a spiritual problem in our flesh. We can't return hate for hate and expect it to get better. Doesn't that seem just a little too obvious to work? Has it worked? Raging out, and I feel like even some of the people that do the school shootings and things like that, I honestly think they go through this demonic torment where they get to such a point where they're they're convinced that everyone's out to get them, and they're just going to do the most damage back. And the biggest payback from what they've experienced is I'm going to go shoot up a school, or whatever. So be aware of that. And I've seen this even with people that have been targets, that they become a lot like the people that are perpetrating this whole gang stalking stuff. They become a lot like them, and it's sad, because I understand it comes from trauma and being hurt so many times, but that's the danger of doing things the way they're doing it. You can't fight how they fight. You really can't. You have to do the opposite in a lot of ways. And the Bible says that there's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to destruction. So there's things that, according to our own thinking and our own understanding, seem right. Get even, make them feel how we feel. And I see that all the time in my comments and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I understand that totally, because I've been there too. But things started shifting for me when I realized these people that these spirits are working through are actually a victim as well, most of the time. I feel like some people have knowingly sold out, but most of the time they're being controlled and influenced by spirits. And I believe that some of them are even former people that have been through the targeting, and to make it stop, they've joined. And you'll notice that with you as a target, there'll probably be opportunities where people ask you, like they did for me, why do you want to join? And I'm like, I'm not like you guys. I'm not perfect any way, shape, or form, but whatever you guys do, the stuff you're involved in, which they wouldn't outright say it, but I'm like, I want no part of what you guys do. So just keep that in mind. For example, with the street theater, someone just posted comments on, they used to do this to me too. I would be walking somewhere and then someone would start screaming out of nowhere. And act like they're hurt, right? My leg! I remember this one guy, he's screaming about his leg, right? At the top of his lungs, outside of this store when I'm walking by at night. And obviously, when you hear people screaming, it puts you on edge. But I knew there was something up with this, so dude screaming, my leg, and just to change the environment, I was like, hey, what's up, man? You okay? I play a doctor on TV. Everything's gonna be all right. Let me see your leg. He showed me his leg, or he tried not really showing me, but I'm like, no, let me see it, dude. I'll help you. And there was nothing wrong with his leg, and then he just stopped and literally didn't say a word. He quit screaming, didn't say anything about his word. I tried talking to him, and he just he stopped. So that tells me right there, it wasn't, nothing about it was real. It was just a little thing to put me on edge. But instead of being oh no, I just went up to him and was kind of joking, And they don't like that when you don't buy into what they're trying to put on you. You know, sometimes I would sing songs, you know, like when they're trying to put me in fear, I would just be singing. Sometimes when they're trying to get me to run, I would just sit right there and just be like, do whatever you guys got to do, you know. And you'll see they don't know how to act when you move in the opposite spirit, because a lot of stuff with witchcraft and the demonic is all on control, and they use fear, they use, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things they can and can't do, you guys. But if we operate in you know, our own thinking and stuff, like, they are a master over us because they've studied us. In a lot of the stuff that we go through, these spirits are tailoring it to you, so they're going off your responses. And I noticed a lot of it is they want your attention, they want your time, you know, all this stuff. And I understand, like, the times where you can't get away from it, but I don't know, things started shifting for me, honestly, when I realized that they were victims. I started actually praying for them. And I was just telling someone on one of my comments, like, dude, go up to them and start telling them about Jesus, you know, watch them get all squirmy, love them, you know, move in the opposite spirit and start taking back, you know, the ground that they're trying to have over you. They're trying to get you to cower in fear and bow to them, and you don't have to, but fear will tell you that you have to do that. So honestly, a lot of the stuff that I'm speaking about, I'm doing it off the top of my head, but I feel like someone needed to hear this today, like just from some of the comments that I got. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. God bless y'all, and don't give up. And if you guys you know, need any advice, not that I'm an expert, but I do feel like I can help in certain circumstances, feel free to hit me up. I'll give you my email or whatever. I have no problem with doing that. This is why I make this channel. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.